It's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which means it is time to go running. Welcome to Prepper Nation. I am John. Thank you very much for watching, for shooting a thumbs up and hitting subscribe here on the channel. It's truly appreciated. It's time to go running. This is the rundown, son. This is the afternoon show where we run down the comments from live chat and the replay crowd this morning. We were talking about, I thrown out a top 50 list because everybody likes lists. Okay, not everybody, but a lot of people do like lists. And it gives, it gave folks this morning a chance to add to said list. And boy, did they. I was expecting more precious metals hatred. I didn't get very much. I'm kind of disappointed in that. But hopefully, the list helps somebody out there. So jumping straight into it now, the live chat first, because I watched the live chat replay before I go in and watch the replay crowd comments. Sensoy, we will have a super crash. It's coming soon. I believe so. I believe all of the financial experts out there are predicting a crash. It's not a matter of if, but when. Fortunately, if you've been preparing and prepping, you really shouldn't be affected all too much because, again, we're expecting one. It's going to be the people that have no idea that the world is so jacked up right now. You know, this country will fix itself magically. When this happens, they're gonna be in total shock, and we're gonna be sitting back drinking coffee or sweet tea, whatever your preference. Adult drinks. Nathan Green, you can trade ammo for whatever you want. He's talking about bartering. Nathan, while you can, and that statement is true, I would strongly encourage you not to use ammunition as a barter item because it can then in turn be used against you later down the road. Every bullet in your possession is a bullet not flying at you. There are plenty of other barter items out there that are less lethal, if you will, that people covet. CNC Farms, dark colored fleece blankets work as blackout curtains. They do. That's an excellent comment. Plus, if the grid fails during the wintertime, this is also something you can put up in doorways and things like that. There are plenty of ways, though, to black out windows and things. Getting back to this morning with the contractor bags, that's another excellent use. Some people are against blacking it out, to be honest. I've seen that in chat before. They want people to know they're there, not in a brazen way, but hey, I'm here, I'm locked and loaded, don't come up here. But most people, myself included, would rather be gray during a time, of total chaos, especially in an urban setting. Okay. You have apartment buildings lining up and down the street, the power's out, and there are only 2 or 3 apartments where you can see electricity being used. To me, that draws the eyes of zombies, and they're going to target those places first. But that's just my opinion. Steve Wilkins, check Army surplus stores. Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you a weird story here, real quick, Steve. These places pop up everywhere. I've seen them at flea markets and things for sure. But we were up in Withville, Virginia, which is probably 35, maybe 40 minutes north. And we were out antiquing one day, which basically means, hey, my wife wants to go look at antiques and I'm being drug along for the ride. But we went into this antique store they have on Main Street. And as we're going through the different booths, there's an Army surplus booth. And I spent a little money there. My wife's like, what a weird place to have an Army surplus store set up. Just keep your eyes open for that kind of stuff. The real Amber Lynn Axe spray. Axe spray makes a good flamethrower. Probably. You're probably going to have more luck with that than you are drawing to ladies. And I would be worried about, quite frankly, because the stuff's terrible. It's terrible smelling. I would be worried about what kind of ladies are drawn to Axe spray. I'm just saying, in case you're a teenager out there and you're catching this, it's not the way to go. You know, save up a little bit, buy you a bottle of $40 cologne, Hooey cologne or something, or $50 cologne. It's gonna last you a while. Bama Jen, jump on the AK train. I just threw that in there to get people fired up, Jen, because they were talking this morning in chat, AK versus AR. It always splits the chat in half, but I'm warming up to the idea of an AK. So if I were to ever purchase an AR versus an AK, year ago I was dead set it was going to be an AR, but AKs just seem more dependable. Yeah. Maybe not as accurate, sure, but more dependable. I'm starting to get that impression with AKs. But may it divide the chat this afternoon. Ark Nanny, bicycle, excellent prep. I am not a fan of these e-bikes, these electric bicycles and things. Do they make life easier? Sure. Can you get them that take gasoline? I guess you still can. I remember seeing them as a kid. But the more basic, the better during a collapse is my thought process. And that's a pretty basic item that's going to help you get around and make life a lot easier. Your standard bicycle. Brian Ayers, aluminum foil. So I have a couple of regrets. These last two are regrets that I missed on the list this morning. As I thought about it and as I was looking through the comments and things, I was really like, I like stacking precious metals, but are they really a top 50 item? And the more I thought about it, I said, probably not. There are going to be very few, if any, barter items in the top 50. The top 50 is too important. The other one was bolt cutters. Got them. Suggest you have them. Is it really a top 50 item, though? I don't know. Aluminum foil is, and it should have been on that list. Thank you for pointing that out, Brian Ayers. And the other one was Appalachian Mercantile, said styrofoam coolers. And really, I should have had coolers on there. We don't have styrofoam coolers, but we have several of the other coolers, the hard plastic coolers. And we've actually had to use them. Once upon a time, we had a chest freezer fail on us, and it helped us save a lot of meat by just icing these things down until we could get another cooler in and clean the mess up and stuff. So those two, aluminum foil and styrofoam coolers, or coolers in general, should have been on the top 50 list. Maybe not precious metals and bolt cutters. Um, Now switching over to the replay crowd, these are folks that caught this morning's video after the fact. We have a huge presence of folks that catch it after the fact because they got to work and they got stuff going on, right? Mark Abercrombie, hardware like screws, nails, tacks, absolutely. Um, Staples for staple guns and things like that. Any sort of hand tool. Uh, excellent prep. Great advice. Thank you for leaving that. Heather McFarland, more people are preppers than they think. So I'm with you on that. I believe what you're trying to say in this comment is a lot of people maybe stack this stuff anyway. Folks that look down on preppers. Those preppers are just weirdos. What are they doing? Why do they do what they do? But then they have more than 2 or 3 days worth of food. They have extra hammers laying around, extra shovels and things just in case one of them would break. Maybe they've got an extra set of tires for their vehicle, or snow tires, or chains for the tires. So even though they look down on preppers in many cases, some of them are inherently prepping, and they're already preppers and they just don't know it. Excellent comment, Heather. Watchman, this is good. This could be its own topic. Um, Honestly, make a list of lines that you will or will not cross during a collapse or a Mad Max situation. So, a list of lines that you will or will not cross, values that you just absolutely will not come out of, no matter how desperate you get. And people will begin to do things. I don't care what people say. They will do a lot of bad things when their feet are put to the fire, so to speak. But go ahead and make a list. It's a free prep, and I think it's an excellent piece of advice. Thank you, Watchman. American Dissident. stack pre-1964 coins, silver and gold. And they go on to say that local farmers love to barter and will barter food for these coins. And I think that's also an excellent piece of advice. Again, I get stacking coins, even junk silver and stuff, is not everybody's cup of tea. Some preppers would just rather stack more ammo, more food, and I get the reasoning behind it, but some of us like our precious metals, as a workaround for a digital reset, as a means to barter outside of the system when that time comes. Plus, if you go back and you look at economic collapses over the past 100 years, what you will find is people that had precious metals stacked lived a heck of a lot better. Uh, their quality of life was much, much better, or it even allowed them to get out of the country that was collapsing as opposed to people that didn't have it. Kate 739, pillows, dried fruit, and a pan for use over a fire, chocolate, scissors, and needles. So Kate's just throwing a bunch of additional preps that weren't on this list. Thank you for that. Pan for the fire really stood out for me because a lot of the cookware that folks have in their home is not really set up to cook over an open flame. So cast iron and stuff like this does come to mind right away. Hoke Mercenary, plywood and window clips. They go on to say in case you were to get a busted window or something like that. Excellent piece of advice. Plywood in general, and just 2x4s and things that will allow you to build and repair and stuff like that. All excellent preps, but that gets you back into needing the hardware, the screws and the nails and stuff from the comment earlier. Our homestead and many, many others, I might point out. Seeds are an excellent prep. Yes, they are. And we have plenty of them. We keep them in freezer bags, which I'd mentioned earlier, and then they're inside of ammo cans. We have a couple of the smaller ammo cans that are just packed full with seeds. So they are a good prep. They are, I don't know if they're in my top 50. Militant's going to get me because Militant's always saying grow food, but when you're getting into a top 50, you really have to be picky. That was my issue with the list. Like, do I go with canned food and water and filtration, or do I throw things in there like seeds and stacking coins and stuff like that? Now, you could make the argument, hey, coins, stacking precious metals should not have been on the list. Seeds definitely should have been. And again, a lot of people left that comment, stacking seeds. His Amazing Grace, chainsaw. Yes, multiple chainsaws, or at least multiple chains for them, right? Seeds. There you go again. And a rocket stove. I don't know if the rocket stove makes my top 50. The chainsaw easily could be swapped out with bolt cutters. I think it would depend on where you live. If you're in an urban setting, I'm probably going with the bolt cutters. But if you're in rural America, chainsaw does make more sense there for me. Seeds, okay, obviously. The rocket stove, I mean, I like them. They work. There's some good brands out there. Minuteman's one of them, but there are other more crude and free ways to do it. Um, I mean, even piling rocks together. You know what I'm saying? Collecting them into a small circle and doing something like that. I don't even own a 9mm. What a name. You need to own at least one 9mm, right? People still saying we might see World War III, and we're already in it. They were dropped on their head as kids. This is the only explanation. Haters going to hate because I was saying a year and a half ago, if not longer, folks, we might be seeing World War III here. And there, to his point, uh, I don't even own a 9mm. Again, what a name. To his point, some late adopters out there. Because we were sitting here getting clowned for it, I might add. Oh, you're fear mongering. You're just throwing out fear porn, son. blah, 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 your channel sucks, blah, blah, blah. Now here they are a year and a half later talking about we might be seeing World War III. I'm with you on this one. We're already in it. What else? What more confirmation do you need? How many more ships have to go to the Mediterranean? How many more planes full of supplies have to go to Europe? You know what I'm saying? How many more ships have to go to South Korea before we realize we're in a full-blown World War III? I mean, what do you need to see? The draft? Seriously, do you need the New York Times to print it on the front page? We're in World War III? Or can you not be a critical thinker here? Briar patch, tobacco, alcohol, and weed will be like gold. It's like stacking gold, talking about stacking gold and precious metals. Briar patch is sitting here like, no, son. Tobacco, alcohol, and weed would actually appeal to more people than precious metals. I don't know. Would it? Y'all let me know in the chat. Would you prefer to have gold and silver bullion or tobacco, alcohol, and weed during a collapse? They're definitely barterable, ain't no doubt. Coffee first, then speak, who hopefully is telling everybody you need to be in live chat. Don't be a top chatter. Said can openers, son. They said it just like that. Can openers are a must, but again, I don't know that they're in my top 50. And that may be crazy talk on my part. I'll admit it. But if I have a can of food and I'm hungry, I'm going to be able to use a knife and get it open. There are too many other more important things when you're getting into a top 50. Can openers for me are more about convenience. You know what I mean? I would rather have extra socks. I would rather have toboggans, right? And coats. I'd rather have tarps. I would rather have 5-gallon buckets. Can openers, they're on down the line a little ways for me. They're a top 100 prep, I think, but not a top 50 for me. Not too sure. You recommended neck knives a couple of months ago. Each girl in our family now has one. That is fantastic to hear. Neck knives, I like the concept because they're unexpected, especially on kids, on teenagers. Most of your would-be bad people out here, they just don't expect a 15 or 16-year-old girl to have a neck knife tucked beneath their shirt. And the advice that I tell my own kids who also have them and carry them, right? Especially if we know we're going to be in a crowded place. If a would-be bad guy grabs you by the arm and says, "Don't make a sound. I'm taking you out of this store." Say we're in Walmart. My advice is, make it for 10 seconds or so, make it seem like you're scared and you're going to totally comply because the bad guy in this case, it could be a woman, but the bad guy, their focal point is going to change from, "Hey, I've got a soft target here," to now situational awareness. I've got to get out of here. Who is watching? Are people paying attention? They're going to be paranoid. They're going to be looking at other things. And after about 10 seconds, you put that knife, I don't know, right in here somewhere, and you make it count. And then you draw as much attention as humanly possible. And not to save this person's life, but just to make things even more chaotic. A neck knife can literally save someone's life, and so I do like it. My kids do use them sometimes camping. They think that's just great. Even small stuff. They'll take sticks and they'll sharpen them down with their little neck knives. They just have fun with them, but they respect the fact that it's a weapon. At the end of the day, it's a tool and a weapon, just like most other weapons, right? So anyway, thank y'all for the comments on this morning's video. This has been the rundown. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Take care. God bless.